I made a mistake one time when I was doing a festival and the band had to pull out at the last minute because they were ill, but I didn't put enough charge in my phone, didn't bring a charger. Oops. And it was the Monday and my battery had run out. I was like, where's the band?
Oops.
This is Sheer Isolation. It's presented by Kieran Moore in Trowbridge and John Ponting in Lechlade. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Sheer Isolation. You are joined by myself, John, in Lechlade, and Kieran is in Trowbridge.
Hello.
Slightly distracted. People who are like event organisers and that, they are 24 hours on the clock. It's non-stop.
If something happens, you just got to be able to respond to it. You can't just leave it till 9 o'clock the following morning.
The purpose of this show is to promote the local music and art scene. And we do that by playing a couple of tracks and talking about gigs that are coming up and having a guest on. We have got our third narrowboat resident guest on Sheer Isolation, which I think is pretty good going in 2 years to find 3 guests who live on boats. It is Marc White, incredibly chilled, calm, just zen individual who also loves a proper rave, or did love a proper
bizarre,
rave.
Isn't it? But when he explained it, I totally got what he was referring to. But he's very zen, very zen.
Yeah. The two of you are working on a reggae night for Trowbridge, so we're going to be chatting about that later on. Have you been involved in many gigs in the last week, Kieran? I've been hiding away in my little hovel for the last week. I've not seen much.
I'm always involved in gigs, John.
It was a leading question, yeah.
It was, of course, it was a leading question. So obviously, last weekend we had Cosmic Ninja and a band called Web. So Cosmic Ninja are from Bristol. They're kind of like a Prodigy style, sort of almost ravey, but not ravey, sort of metal bands. They were super. The front woman has so much energy. She's incredible. They were brilliant, and they were supported by a band called Web, who are from Swindon, which play almost Tool-esque kind of technical rock. But the drummer is Nigel Powell from the Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls, and it was an absolute delight to meet up with him. They're one of these bands, right, that they've ditched amplifiers and they're just using pods. So all of their music is like triggered and pod and sort of can basically digitalized. So they travel quite lightly.
Explain what a pod is, because I was thinking it's a way that you drink coffee.
Or I was thinking of a bean pod, but yeah, no, a pod. It's just basically like a foot pedal that you just plug your guitar into, and then it has settings that you can change. You can change this type of sounds and sort of effects, etc.
Right, I think we've already gone far too nerdy and lost most of the audience with that. But it was interesting for me. I enjoyed it. Kieran, what or who is Boom Boom Raccoon?
Oh, so Boom Boom Raccoon are a kind of light ska acoustic 5-piece from Bristol. They're really clued up on all of their like environmental concerns and the sort of social justice concerns. And they're going to be coming to play in Trowbridge in a few weeks. And I picked them because I was looking for support acts. Who could I get to support this act? And I don't know who suggested it, but someone suggested they would like to see Boom Boom Raccoon. So I thought, what a great name. I'm going to look them up. And I listened and I thought, this is literally the encapsulation of fun. You can just imagine let's going to make some music. We're going to have some fun. That's what they sound like. So I've actually picked a song, which technically is a cover, but I don't think anyone's going to care about that. But it's the Vengaboys. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. But it's by a band called Boom Boom Raccoon.
When you're alone and you need a friend, someone to help you forget your problems, come along, baby, take my hand. I'll be your lover tonight. This is all I wanna do. Whoa, whoa. Let's have some fun. Whoa, whoa. One, just me and you. Whoa, whoa. Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. We'll spend the night together from now until forever. Boom, 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 boom. I want a double boom. We'll spend the night together in my room. music is what we do every weekend. We'll jump the train up to you. Whoa, whoa, this is all we wanna do. Whoa, whoa, let's have some fun. Whoa, whoa, drinking all the homebrew. Whoa, whoa, boom, boom, Raccoon. We'll have show in your room. We're drinking Henry Western ciders, 3 bottles for a fiver. Boom, boom, Raccoon. Gonna be too drunk too soon while playing lots of music together in your room. When you're alone and you need a band, it doesn't matter how long you've played for. Grab an instrument and have a jam. We wanna play songs with you. Whoa, whoa, we're drinking all the homebrew. Whoa, whoa, let's drink some rum. Whoa, whoa, let's play another song or two. Whoa, whoa, boom, boom, Raccoon. We'll have a show in your room. We're drinking Henry Western ciders, 3 bottles for a fiver. Boom, boom, Raccoon. We're gonna get too drunk too soon while playing lots of music together in your room. A friend, someone to help you forget your problems. Come along, baby, take my hand. I'll be your lover tonight. Pick it up, let's go. Whoa, whoa, this is all I wanna do. Whoa, whoa, let's have some fun. Whoa, whoa, one-on-one, just me and you. Whoa, whoa, boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. We'll spend the night together from now until forever. Boom, boom. I want a double boom. We'll spend the night together in my room.
I think we've said before, we kind of break the norms of the kind of things that we play. We play stuff that you wouldn't tend to find anywhere else. I'm not sure where you would even look to find something like that, Kieran. Well done for finding Boom Boom by Boom Boom Raccoon.
Boom Boom Raccoon, the Vengaboys reworking. But basically, once you start humming it, John, it doesn't leave your head. And it's actually quite irritating, but they're so much fun. They seem so lovely. I've never met them, but I'm sure when I meet them, it'd be brilliant.
Insane. Your music taste is completely insane. Wonderful. It's time for product placement, and I can see you've got a Frank Turner vinyl behind you.
So by the time anybody hears this, Frank Turner will have scored his first #1 album, or he won't have scored his first #1 album, and we're all going to be really sad. But this is his new album. It's called Frank Turner Hardcore. That's a picture disc, obviously. It's a vinyl. I've played it. I've already got it out of its packaging and I've played it, which you shouldn't do with vinyl. People collect them, but I'm not a collector. I'm a listener. I'm a lover. Well, that's Frank's new album, and I really rate it. I think the album's really, really good. Killer return to form. But there it is. And hopefully, by the time people listen to this, he's got his #1, and we can all just ecstatically rejoice at him achieving it.
We do talk about Frank a lot. I need to try and convince you, Kieran, to run an entire podcast without mentioning his name once, because I'm not sure the last time that's happened.
The thing is, I promoted him. I did his shows and stuff, so it crops up quite often.
I mean, he is over the last few years, he has become more and more of a known musician. But you were there, like babysitting him, weren't you, Kieran, back in the day?
He used to come back to my house, and we had a party at my mum's house once, and there was stuff happening there. I was just sat with him, boring him shitless, talking about venues and promoters and bands, and all he wanted to do was just have a smoke. So sorry, Frank.
So there you go, product placement, and let's hope he's #1.
I've got all of my appendages. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, appendages.
I've got them all crossed, John.
Wonderful. It is time for us to have a chat to our guest. As we mentioned in the opening link, we're talking to Marc White this week, who you know, Kieran, because he does stuff at Trowbridge Town Hall. He does yoga classes, but there's a lot more to him than just yoga.
There is indeed. There's a lot more to him. He's actually a bit like an onion. You know, you start peeling him and you find more information out. So I was fascinated to learn a few bits and pieces here, which I didn't otherwise know.
Yeah, that is what I always think about onions. Oh, there's some more information.
They're layers, aren't they? They're layers. I'm saying he's got layers, John.
I teach yoga in my spare time, and I do a bit of DJing on my boat. It used to be in my bedroom, but it's on my boat now and at gigs, mainly friends' parties and little free events going on. I'm a plumber and gas engineer by trade.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've been doing that for 15 years. I've run my own business for 15 years, and I have lots of little side hobbies I do on the side.
So you say you do yoga, because it's you do this thing called karma tree, don't you? Tell me more about that, because although I see you coming into the building all the time, I don't actually know what you do.
Well, Karma Tree, it was a donation-based yoga community where people just come along and they donate some money, and I give them a free yoga class. My training in yoga is in pranayama, which is the breathing side of yoga. So it's breath work. But I don't just teach that in my classes. It's a collaboration of all different stuff I've learned in different yoga classes.
Am I right in thinking you have like a music element to this as well? You kind of almost music therapy.
Yeah, well, what happened was since the lockdown, the yoga community of Karma Tree sort of came to an end, and then I decided to take Karma Tree on as my own brand. I do energy healing, and as a part of the energy healing, I use sound.
Nice.
To help heal people and shift energies and change the vibration inside people, if you like. So I've started incorporating that into my yoga classes. So it's more of a sound healing class with aspects of yoga and pranayama and mantra incorporated in the class.
Sounds.
And then I get another facilitator to facilitate it with me, who brings various singing bowls and gongs and takes people on a sound journey.
You say you do your DJing. Obviously, we've alluded it to already. It's reggae DJing. But how did you get into DJing? What was that? What's the story behind that?
Well, my girlfriend bought me my first set of turntables when I was 16, which is coming up 20 years ago. And I started mixing sort of rave music, if you like, in my bedroom, and my parents didn't quite like that. They used to flick the fuse board off down at the they used to flick the electric off down at the fuse board, and the turntables would just stop spinning. But then as I got older, I've invested in better turntables, and now I can play them on my narrowboat where volume is not an issue.
There's quite a juxtaposition there between your yoga self and your DJ self. That seemed to be polar apart from me. How does that kind of work in kind of?
Yeah, well, when I was growing up and leaving school, I was very much into the rave scene, and I used to go to raves all over the country every weekend.
Wow.
And when I was 21, I sort of went traveling off to Australia and traveled around the world, going to various raves and jungle parties in all sorts. And then when I was in Canada about 4 or 5 years ago, I found I went to an ecstatic dance class on New Year's Eve, and it was quite the opposite to what I was used to. But it was a 3-hour ecstatic dance, and it was a sober party, but they played quite upbeat rave music for a good 2 or 3 hours, and there was a guy playing a djembe drum in the middle of the class there. And to my surprise, there was also other ravers in the room, and I left that event at like 2-3 in the morning feeling really ecstatic and high. And then I walked through. I was in Vancouver at the time in Canada, and I walked through downtown Vancouver to walk back 2 or 3 miles to a house party, and I saw people coming out the clubs and the pubs all drunk, stumbling into taxis, and sort of the penny dropped a little bit there, and that was sort of the start of my yoga journey, if you like. I started getting into yoga a lot more and partying a little bit less.
Wow, so you found a place that had the benefits of the kind of the ravey music, but not the ravey atmosphere.
Well, it was the music, but it was also the connection to people as well. It was the connection that I liked, having this connection with other humans. And when I used to go to the raves, it was with a crew of people, and we'd see people that we'd usually see at other raves.
Okay.
Like the weeks and months before, earlier on in the year, and there was sort of a community of people, and I just found that community in yoga as well, and connecting with people and myself. Yeah.
So where does the reggae come in? Well, which point did you make the transition from trance or drum and bass to reggae?
I've always sort of, when I was traveling around, I used to put Bob Marley on my headphones. I had some Dre Beats headphones, and I used to put them on when I was on the 12-hour buses, and felt a real connection to Bob Marley in the lyrics and his music. And I was getting into reggae music then, and I travelled to Jamaica and travelled around Jamaica. I went and stayed in a Rasta camp and
nice.
Hitchhiked around Jamaica for a little bit, and that it just grew my love for reggae music. And then a few years ago, I inherited a reggae collection off of one of my friend's dads, and he had quite an extensive collection of original reggae vinyl from the 80s. He was an avid vinyl listener and player and collector back in the day.
I think that's quite a nice little segue, actually, because we're going to celebrate the fact that you're a DJ, that you've got this vinyl collection, and we're going to do a show. But it's more than just a gig, isn't it? It's not just a guy spinning some tunes. There's a sort of a desire behind this to reconnect people again, isn't there?
That's the intention behind it, is to sort of create some connection on the dance floor and just recreate like the vibe that it was years ago, before sort of phones come into play and all this.
For the internet.
Yeah, and TV, and now, you know, the society is shaped by a lot of role models in TV shows and whatnot. I just want to sort of drop all the masks and just connect on the dance floor and just be in the moment.
Be in the moment with the music.
Yeah, exactly. And just be present there and just have a good old dance. I mean, my intention is just to get everybody dancing, basically.
The sort of reggae tradition would be a sound system, wouldn't it? Where people would bring their equipment, they'd set it up, and it was more than the sum of the parts. It's not just a case of playing music. There is so much more to this. It's about that community. It's about drinking together, socializing together, and then, but also that all together, setting it up and packing it down.
Yeah, I mean that's the sound system culture for you. The whole part of it was they would gather their sound system and they would take it to a venue and set up the sound system, and then have a big party. And at the end of the party, they'd take all their sound system down and pack it all back in the car, and then take it back to wherever it was stored. And that's all part of the fun and the culture of the music and the event.
So back in those days, they probably didn't have health and safety laws. We've got obviously we've kind of gone full circle, really, because we're gonna try and recreate this experience. I think we've got authentic sound. We've got an authentic person who's interested in it, and obviously we've got a really posh, plush looking, amazing venue. I'm really hoping that people can respond to that and they feel vibey in the space, along with everything that you're doing.
One thing, just listening to you there, Mark, you really have travelled the world. It seems like you're following your ears around the globe. How was that something that was always in your mind when you were younger, to think I'm going to go and get these experiences, or did it kind of just happen as a spur of the moment thing?
I mean, no, I actually went travelling to sort of get away from the rave scene, if you like, and all the partying. And you know, I was sort of pretty much done with it. I'd gone over the country every weekend, and I was getting a little bit bored of it. But then when I landed in Bangkok, it was just a whole new world of parties and raves, and I just got lost in it for quite a long time.
So when are you going to make yourself over to Mongolia and get into sort of Mongolian throat singing?
Well, I've actually got a friend who does the throat singing, and he comes in and helps me facilitate classes.
We need to start promoting some of these events, because we need to promote the thing that you're talking about, Kieran, which I'm assuming is at Trowbridge Town Hall, and we also need to promote Karma Tree if people want to find out more and attend. So where do we start?
Karma Tree is just undergoing a rebirth process. So the only place that it is at the moment is on Facebook. It has my contact details on there, and all the events are put on the Facebook page.
The show itself, John, is Saturday, the 2nd of April. It's actually the first gig at the Town Hall that is from the last period of music. We're going into a new period of music, and it's the first gig. So we're really leading on something which I'm hoping is appealing to a broad spectrum of Trowbridge, which previously haven't been catered for. We did do a sort of Jamaican event a couple of years ago, and it was absolutely packed. And we're really hoping that if we can get across that diversity and that interest, it's not just a venue for white middle-class people in Trowbridge, it's a venue for everyone. And we want to reach people that otherwise wouldn't come to the venue. And I really think this event can do that. So it's Saturday, the 2nd of April. Marc's DJing. Marc has a friend who's DJing. It's rum, it's reggae. It's going to be fantastic.
The reason I sort of chose to do this event at the Town Hall, and what inspired me is because I was teaching upstairs, and I went down. The building is just such an amazing venue. It's got so much character. It's so old. It really draws me in, actually. And when I saw the music venue there, it's quite industrial, and it was very unique to Trowbridge and anything around. And it just felt so right to do an event there. And yeah, it is just such a great venue.
I agree with you, man. And I think the more people that see it, the more people that will buy and believe it and really buy into it. But like, I could have scripted that for you, but I didn't. You said that of your own volition, so you get it.
And just the other thing that I wanted to add is, my other intention for the event is to draw in a diverse crowd of people. I want to create diversity and connection on the dance floor there.
So we ask our guests to pick a tune for us to play straight after the interview. So what have you chosen for us?
The track I've chosen is You Are My Sunshine by the Mighty Rudo.
And why have you picked that one?
Because I was literally just listening to it on a 12-inch vinyl, and you dropped the bomb saying you need to pick a track for this.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Thing, and it was just going over in my head. So it was already in my head. So it was the first song that was there without any thought.
You are my sunshine, you're my moonlight, you're my everything that is right. I owe you. Yes, you are my sunshine. Yeah, you're you. Yes, you are my moonlight. I said, why do you wanna go? And you know that I love you so. Why can't you stay with me? I love you, can't you see? Don't you know you? Yes, you are my sunshine. You. Yes, you are my moonlight. Yeah, I said you are my sunshine. You are my moonlight. Yes, you are my sunshine. Yeah, you are my moonlight. I said I'm crazy about you, baby. You just gotta be my lady. I said I'm gonna miss your kissing, surely gonna miss your teasing. You are my sunshine. You are my sunshine. You're my moonlight. You're my everything that is right. Yeah. You are my sunshine. Yeah, you're you. Yes, you are my moonlight. I said son. I said, can you imagine a child without fun? That's how my life would be without you and it gone free. You, yeah, you are my sunshine. Yeah, 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 you. Yes, you are my moonlight. Yeah, I said you are my sunshine. You boo, you boo, yeah. You boo, you boo, yeah. You boo, yes, I own you. Yeah, you are my sunshine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that track is "You Are My Sunshine" by the Mighty Rudo. It's the Mighty Rudo.
Rudo. The Mighty
You Are My
Rudolph.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
When I say that English is my first language, I'm not sure people would believe me.
Either that or you're having a stroke, John. Have you had an aspirin today?
I have not had an aspirin today, no.
Get one down you. It thins your blood. So good luck.
Cool. Thank you for that excellent advice. That track was Mark's tip. And if you're interested in a reggae night, then have a look on the Trowbridge Town Hall website.
Please do.
Okay, a couple of weeks ago we talked about the Mighty Festival. Well, last week we talked about the Mighty Festival. This time, going to look at the Lechlade Festival up in the Cotswolds, which happens at the end of May. It's the 27th to 29th of May. Another festival that's been postponed for a couple of years, but it is back this year. In a similar way to Mighty, they have local and smaller acts on during the day, but then they get a couple of big name acts to finish the night off. This time around, they've got Alexandra Burke and the Boomtown Rats.
They're big acts.
It's great when little festivals, like localized festivals, get these massive acts to finish the night off. They've also got a band in code. I wanted to check your Rolodex of bands because this name is incredible. Frankenstein's Lobster. I want to get tickets just to see what they do.
Oh my God, I don't know them at all. Let me look them up. That sounds amazing.
You book them. But yeah, that's Lechlade Festival at 27th of May. A couple of other bits of news I noticed. One thing that's quite sad, Baila in Swindon has closed its doors.
Oh, that is sad, isn't it? Yeah, I saw the post on Facebook.
So Baila, it's a very small coffee shop / venue on the main road. It's just down from the Vic, isn't it, in Swindon?
It's just opposite the road. Yeah, you've got the nightclub and then you've got Baila.
Yeah, and it always had a reputation for being that place that you would go just to sit and listen to. There's usually something happening and there's a really friendly bunch in there. So it's really sad that we've lost that place.
That is really sad. He was a DJ as well. And he used to play a lot of cool ambient stuff, and you'd sit there and drink your coffee and listen to some really cool sounds. It really was quite unique, actually. Swindon had two really amazing coffee places. There was Dark Room Espresso at the bottom end of town, and then Baila at the top end of town. I think that's really sad that it's gone. So, yeah, sorry, guys.
The other piece of news that I spotted on, I think it was on the BBC, the Exchange in Bristol. The guy who runs it, is Matt, isn't it? Is it Matt?
Matt, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been here before.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
He was talking about how their lineup, in his words, has been decimated because international bands are not coming over still. Which we have talked about on this show many months ago. We were saying that when all the lockdowns of that finish, we're gonna kind of stick with UK for the moment, and then the international bands will eventually feed back in. But yeah, the Exchange had a lot of international names booked in their lineup, so now they're really having to redraft their schedule for the coming few months.
Well, that is a massive shame. I'm really sad about that.
But you know all about rescheduling your schedules.
Yes, it's a madness. I'm not really enjoying it right now, John. I've got to sort out a pickle in a minute. It's like doing a crossword when you've got all the words, but none of them actually fit. And you've got to try and move them all around so they fit. And I'm not really enjoying it, if I'm honest.
Your life is just one big 12-letter wordle.
But update, John, update. Frankenstein's Lobster are the world's only, probably, rock ukulele band. Drums and vocals, rhythm ukulele, vocals, saz and kazoo, bass ukulele and vocals, and then lead vocals and lead ukulele. There's 4 of them. They all play ukulele.
Book them.
Well, I'll try, John. I'll try, okay? They sound like they'd be great with Professor Elemental.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap this up. But if you want to get in touch with us, you can email sheerisolation@gmail.com, or you can find us online, sheerisolation.co.uk, streaming services, and obviously we're here same time every week. Kieran, thank you for taking time out of your scheduling evening to chat to me today.
Cheers, mate.
Always a pleasure to have a chat, and we'll be back next week. See you later.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye.